What's happening? Another conversation with Steve here. Um, I'm going to talk to you guys about worldly patience versus biblical patience. Worldly patience could look similar to like putting in boundaries for people, and when when things are not met, or if you turn the other cheek, for an amount of time, like a certain amount of time, and eventually, you have to address it and be like, hey, like, you've done this and this and this to me. Now, while on the surface level it feels like that's a responsible thing to do, to have boundaries for people and let them know like where they've crossed the line and how they've disrespected you, Jesus talks about a different type of patience where, he'll talk to Peter and be like, and when Peter asks, how often should I forgive my brother? Is it 7 times? And Jesus says, no, it's 7 times 77. It's different. It's like you're not trying to seek redemption from yourself. It's not ours to seek. It's actually the Lord's. That's Jesus' job, to redeem you, to put you back in that kind of position of where you're meant to be instated. Like you're not meant to try and seek that kind of justice on your own behalf. We're meant to seek justice for other people, so I'm all for boundaries and seeking justice for other people. But for yourself, we shouldn't. We were meant to turn the other cheek and what have you. And Joseph is the biggest example of biblical patience, where it really it's inspiring. Like, the story of Joseph of he's being betrayed by his brothers, sent to slavery in Egypt, and then temporarily was put into promotion, and was looking after a household, but he then got accused for adultery and was wrongfully accused and was sent to prison for 13 years. Joseph could be moping about how he was wrongfully accused for like the 13 years, but he wasn't. He was still righteous, and he still provided a service by interpreting dreams for people, and yet he was interpreting a dream for the king who wrongfully accused him. But he could have been like, nah. He could have been salty and be like, no, I don't want to do that. Why? He wasn't trying to seek any trade where it's like, oh yeah, I'll do this for you if you can get me out. He just helped out, and through just being himself and being patient, he was in position of power and was like a second in charge of all of Egypt. And yeah, he didn't have any hatred or any bitterness towards his brothers when essentially the brothers realized that he's like the second in charge of all of Egypt. He didn't go out his way to make their lives more miserable and all that kind of stuff. He actually thanked them, saying, hey, because you've done this thing, look where God has put me. He's put me ruler of all this land. So thank you. And I think biblical patience require for us to say thank you more often than not with certain trials that we experience. Or if we get wronged by someone else, thank them. It's a backwards way of dealing with things, but I think that's where you can get more strength and you can get more knowledge and wisdom. It's going through the backwards mentality of being thankful for evil deeds that occur to us or trials. It's a different way of viewing patience, and Joseph is definitely someone I admire in a way of, I don't know, I just visualize his obedience to the Lord, and it just gives me inspiration to not be angry at people for you know, their wrongdoings and what have you, like. So I want to know if there's anyone else out there that struggle with patience, and if you think that Joseph is a good ideal to strive to, or, you know, emulate the life of Christ in turning the other cheek. And but yeah, what are your thoughts about the virtue of patience? I personally love it, and Joseph is probably my favorite person in the Bible thus far. So yeah, let me know. Let me go. Let you words. Let me know what you guys like in the Bible.